always, a beautiful setting here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and Patriots Point. Just 2 weeks left in the USL Championship regular season, and tonight it's the Charleston Battery playing host to Rhode Island FC. Tonight's match is presented by The Ideal Life. Learn more today at theideallife.com. With the former MLS midfielder Jamie Watson, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. The Charleston Battery, they clinched their playoff spot way back when this season, and now they're locked into that second seed in the East. They can't move up, they can't move down. They're just looking to find two.
For Charleston, it's about finding consistency heading into the most important time of the season, and they've been very consistent at home. 12 wins, 2 draws, only 1 loss at Patriots Point. For a team that'll spend a lot of the time in the postseason at home, now they need to make sure that they're finding their form and fluidity going forward with their movement and their consistency in front of goal.
And Charleston forward Nick Marcanic, he has been breaking records left and right. Didn't play last week. He's back in the lineup today.
For perspective, the mark of a good forward is a goal every 2 games. Nick Marcanic almost has a goal every game. He's shattering records. He now stands alone as the top goal scorer in the season in the USL Championship and league history. This is also the league MVP. It's his shot selection, his ability to strike from distance, and the different ways that he can score. If you give him an inch, he'll take a mile inside the box.
Rhode Island FC will be looking to clinch a playoff berth today. This is their first season. I'm not sure a lot of people thought they'd be here, but here they are.
Well, and you look at the start of the beginning of the season, from where they were to where they are now, this is a team that has grown week by week. And Coach Cano Smith has this group believing that they can really achieve new heights in their inaugural season. And the player that has been the catalyst for that, Noah Fuson, he leads the USL Championship with 9 assists. He also leads the USL Championship with big chances created. That's 15, meaning that there's still more this team can do based off of his service. If Rhode Island want to clinch their first playoff spot in their inaugural season, Noah Fuson is going to have to get to the final third, get open, and to try to connect with the J.J. Williams up top.
Charleston locked into that second spot. For Rhode Island, they haven't officially clinched yet. There are plenty of other games going on around the league tonight that will have influence on the Eastern Conference. It's pretty simple, though, for Rhode Island. Win, and you are in.
In 90 short minutes, there could be an X next to Rhode Island. Who'd have thought that all the way back at the beginning of the season? Yet Cano Smith has his team peaking at the right time.
Well, we are building you up to first kick. Always such a great setting here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and Patriots Point. The second matchup of 2024 between Charleston and Rhode Island is on the way.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Tonight's match is presented by The Ideal Life. The Ideal Life is a platform that provides coaching, community, and content for people to grow both personally and professionally. Harness your stress, discover your purpose, and achieve your goals. Learn more today at ideallife.com. It's the Charleston Battery and Rhode Island FC. Tonight's starting lineups will start with the Charleston Battery, a 3-4-2-1 tonight for Ben Pierman, and it's Aaron Malloy who gets another start tonight.
Malloy is one of the best players in the entirety of USL Championship. Complete two-way player, links the back to the front. He'll be on the ball early and often. The more he's on it, the better sign that is for the Charleston Battery.
For Cano Smith and Rhode Island FC tonight, a 3-5-2, and that front line going to be very important.
J.J. Williams with 3 goals, 5 assists can equal parts hurt you when he's scoring goals, but he can also create. The combination with Fuson and Williams is going to be so important for Rhode Island. They need the late arriving run from Ibarra to give them the numbers overload inside of the box.
And we are just about set for first kick tonight from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Our referee tonight is Matt Thompson, a former USL Championship Referee of the Year. 64 degrees. It is an ideal night for some soccer at Patriots Point. Always such a great setting here. The first matchup between Rhode Island and Charleston in April was a 0-0 draw. And tonight, we are just about ready to go. Jogging onto the field a little late, Grant Stoneman, after they fixed a goal to our left. There's the whistle, and we are underway tonight from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. It's Charleston in white tonight at home, and in the yellow or gold, it is Rhode Island FC. It's pretty simple tonight for Rhode Island. Win, and you are in. If they drop points, it's a bevy of other results that will have to go in their way to officially clinch a spot tonight. But getting into the playoffs in year one, what a job that would be for Cano Smith. That's a look at Ben Pierman, who kind of calls this end of the season purgatory. It's a bit of an interesting word choice, but they can't move up in the standings, can't move down in the standings. They're just trying to fine-tune, get in the playoffs, kind of peaking as you want.
Where Charleston sit right now and the implications of their final 2 matches, it is a unique situation to find yourself in. It's a different type of adversity, but with that, it's a good adversity to have, being in second place. Now you can try to fine-tune, you can try to get some minutes. You can see Aaron Malloy back in the starting lineup. That is a welcomed addition. And for a player who missed 2 months of the season with an injury, to get him back, get him sharp, and finding game speed and match fitness, those are some key components right now, and you can navigate how many minutes and workload you give to players heading into the most important part of the season.
The injury report is presented by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Juan Sebastian Palma has been out pretty much all season long for Charleston with that knee injury. For Rhode Island, Albert Dequa, the MVP of 2023 in the USL Championship, is still out tonight. That's a big loss for Cano Smith and this Rhode Island side. Dequa with 9 goals, 4 assists. Those 9 goals lead this Rhode Island side. That ball did go out of play, and it's a throw-in on the way for Rhode Island, who just finished up last week another 0-0 draw this year against Loudoun. 14 draws this year. That is tied for the most draws ever in a season in USL Championship history. They have 6 0-0 draws as well. I guess you could look at the other side of the coin and say, well, at least we're getting something out of a game instead of dropping full points. A long throw coming in. It's flicked along. A header away. He'll be tracked down by Ibarra, who's trying to turn the corner. Now Turnbull and Chris Allen will get this upfield. And it's a whistle. It will go back to Charleston. Going back to last week, so many rotations in the lineup, but in tonight's Michelob Ultra starting lineups, very familiar faces back in. Juan David Torres is back, Nick Marcanic is back. It's more of these regular attacking players, and Charleston coming forward again here. Marcanic trying to cut it back. Rhode Island, though, able to get this out of play.
And to further illustrate, as we look at those Michelob Ultra starting lineups, you think of M.D. Myers as a player that is caught in that purgatory of where Charleston batteries sit. If this were a playoff match, ideally you'd want M.D. Myers in the starting lineup, a player that has had incredible success, 13 goals on the season. If we're not talking about Nick Marcanic's record-setting season, we're talking about M.D. Myers. Now you get Jackson Conway's in, and you can rest M.D. Myers.
Cut infield for Zach Harivo. Now Rhode Island, another chance to cross. Fuson nods it back out wide. Harivo again, looking infield, onto his left foot, and a header away by Leland Archer. Another shot from distance, and also blocked. Rhode Island trying to drive forward again here, start on the front foot on the road. Only one team has beaten Charleston here at Patriots Point this year in the regular season. Surprisingly, it was El Paso Locomotive back in May. And just one loss here on their home field, 12-1-2, second most home points in the USL Championship behind, of course, Louisville City.
This has been a very good start for Rhode Island inside of the first 5 minutes. Cano Smith will be really pleased with his group's endeavor to go and try to force the pace of the game. What that'll do is that'll start Rhode Island with their defensive line of confrontation and press a little bit higher up the field. They like to be a team that presses. It doesn't change who they're playing, whether they're at home or away. And for Rhode Island, this will be an encouraging start for them, knowing that this is one of the most complete teams at home. And to have Charleston on the back foot so early on, it makes chasing and defending a little bit easier when you see it's having success.
Foul from behind, Robbie Crawford, another one of those depth pieces that is getting a start tonight for the Battery. Here's Arturo Rodriguez. Rodriguez again, hops over a challenge. Juan David Torres now carrying forward. Torres looking in field, always wants to cut it in on that left foot.
Look at the defensive shape of Rhode Island. Immediately back, very disciplined, hard to penetrate through. So Charleston are forced to go around and back to try to be patient and probe for the moment when there is somebody who's lazy or doesn't do the defensive due diligence, and the passing lane opens up centrally for Charleston.
Rhode Island tied for the 7th least conceded this year with 39 goals. 9 clean sheets, is tied for 11th, and they just got their first clean sheet last time out for the first time since the end of August. I always say defense wins championships. They will be almost in the playoffs if they can get a result here tonight. They're not quite there. They need still a few more results, either themselves or to go their way from around the league. There's Arturo Rodriguez bursting forward again. Rodriguez cuts it in fields, broke it up and cleared away. Gonna play in transition. That ball lofted over the top, and Leland Archer able to calmly play this back for Adam Grinwis. There's Juan David Torres. No goals last week for this Charleston attack at Pittsburgh. It was 69 seconds into the game in which Charleston conceded that opening goal against the Riverhounds on the road. Then they conceded another one about 18 minutes later. As Ben Pierman said, he said, "We're satisfied with the final 70 after we, quote, messed up the start." But no goals on the night. Nick Marcanic did not play. Juan David Torres did not play. It was a rotated side, but he was pleased with some of the depth players that came in, such as Zeke Soto, the 17-year-old who was on the bench tonight. It was just his second appearance for Charleston since coming over from the Houston Academy. Ben Pierman is liking what he's seeing from his depth, and I guess you want to see that. You want to have that competition within the squad, but you also want your top players playing in their top form at this time of the year.
We'll see Zeke Soto on the bench tonight as well, because with this being a home game, you're allowed 2 players 18 and under in the USL Championship for home games, and so that is an added twist. You can bring on another veteran player to the bench and keep Soto on the bench. If the game permits, give him another opportunity at home in this environment close to the playoffs to keep the evolution of the 17-year-old going forward. A lot of shuffling. This is a unique challenge for both the players and the coaching staff for the Charleston Battery. But ultimately, I think when they face off against Loudoun United in their final home match of the season, that will be the matchup in which you will see the group that is most likely to start the playoffs. Because all the tinkering can be done now, but you get to that game just before the playoff starts, that's where you're going to make sure you get your 11 that you trust the most ready to go for at least 60 to 70 minutes.
That's the time of year when you want everybody at their top health, or at least whatever that top health is after a long, long season. And as Ben Pierman said, some players maybe not in the starting lineup tonight, but would be if it was a playoff game.
Makes perfect sense. It's good coaching. It's the decision that should be made right now. Everybody is some degree of hurt right now. You're just trying to make sure that you're not injured. And then how can you navigate these minutes and games that mean something? Obviously, every game means something. but they won't mean something in terms of where you're going to finish in the regular season.
It's the old adage that coaches say, you hurt or injured. It's that time of year when you got to get on the field when you can. Charleston, the highest average possession in the USL Championship, just a shade under 59% per game. And Cano Smith talked about we need to win the ball back in the areas where we can hurt them quickly, because for a team that has the ball 60% of the time, those chances could be few and far between.
And that possession that Charleston just had and needlessly turned it over, that's because that's impatience from Charleston. If Rhode Island are going to drop off and give you possession, this gets called offside of J.J. Williams, just a little bit too overzealous to get in behind. Cano Smith will want his group to sit in, make it difficult to be broken down. They'll concede that possession, and the possession battle at the end of the night could be overwhelmingly in favor of the Charleston Battery. But if it's in positions like the outside back and the center back, no problem. That is the least hurtful to Rhode Island. It's when Malloy gets on the middle, gets on the ball in the middle of the park. That's when Charleston are at their most dangerous.
Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Here's a chance from distance. Torres was closed down quickly. Now Arturo Rodriguez. Torres, the no-look pass. And this taken by Koke Vegas. Another start in goal tonight. Early on, Vegas was injured, and it was Jackson Lee who stepped into that goalkeeper spot. But Koke Vegas, who's been a #1 in this league for so long with San Diego, his last 2 seasons spent with the Loyal, and now finding himself here with Rhode Island in their inaugural season. Torres again. Torres was clipped, and a free kick going Charleston's way. Crawford picking his head up. David Torres lets it run through, but turns it over. And now Rhode Island can look upfield with Zach Harivo. Loose first touch. Heavy challenge put in that was right in front of the Rhode Island bench. It's a free kick going Rhode Island's way.
Crawford will be very fortunate to not get a booking here. Crawford was so late with this, and as the heavy touch came in, he absolutely cleans out Harivo. That's 100% a booking. That is endangering the player's safety, and Matt Thompson shows an incredible amount of leniency to not give Crawford a booking. They did go over and have a word with Crawford, so now any tackle and any benefit of the doubt will go out the window for Robbie Crawford from referee Matt Thompson.
Ibarra sends it forward, the header away by Leland Archer. Dos Santos now bumping there with Noah Fuson. Clearance as far as Turnbull, and Rhode Island can stay on the ball 13 minutes in. Ibarra over the top, well-weighted pass, but this runs through for Adam Grinwis. The target was Noah Fuson.
Fuson saw shadows of Leland Archer tucking over. He did what most people would do, and that kind of hesitate a little bit, and just that presence that Archer has in the back line stifles that attack and really thwarts it.
A loose pass by Dos Santos and turned over. J.J. Williams got it caught in his feet, and it's quickly won back by Aaron Malloy. Such a key player to get back in this lineup for the Charleston Battery. Played 90 minutes last week. It was that first 90 minutes since he was injured earlier this season in July. Missed almost 2 months for the Battery. They weren't sure when they were going to get him back. He slowly worked back into fitness, and Ben Pierman saying that 90 minutes last week was very important. This is brought down. The flag is up for offside. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to the resources they need to recover. And the Rowdies tonight playing a quote-unquote home match in Cary, North Carolina against North Carolina FC. And it was a 2-0 win for NCFC, and an important one at that, because it has put North Carolina in that 8th spot, or at least tied on points at the moment with Pittsburgh, while Tampa Bay has now stayed in 6th spot, which is in the live standings. 2 points right now behind Rhode Island, and looks like the Rowdies are going to be in for a shout for a home playoff game, but it looks like they will definitely be on the road now going into the playoffs this year. Another whistle in the middle, and this time a yellow card is brandished to Mark Ibarra.
Immediately Noah Fuson points over to where the foul happened just a moment ago with Robbie Crawford. This is where you start to get into the consistency discussion. This is a late challenge on Aaron Malloy. You be the judge at home when you see the turn, the lateness of it. There is a lot of force to it. I agree that that's a yellow card. I think Crawford should have been as well too, but now it's going to be interesting to see how decisions are brandished. But you can notice just how Malloy opens his body up and takes the touch on a half turn beyond 2 defenders, and is so quick to be able to get to that next thought, to touch the ball before Ibarra makes the challenge and draw that yellow card.
It's an important player to pick up a yellow card right in the heart of that midfield for Cano Smith and Rhode Island. A key cog for Rhode Island this year, 32 appearances. This is game at number 33. A cool story coming into play tonight. This was just before kickoff. 2 very good friends, Cano Smith and Ben Pierman. Cano Smith was telling us that he first met Ben in a coaching course around 2018, but that was not the coolest part of the story. They've stayed in touch, obviously, but after their first match back in April, a 0-0 draw, they exchanged each other's game plans for the other to see how they were going to attack the opposition. We were talking about this before. I don't think we've ever seen that before, and it was so unique between these 2 friends.
We've never heard 2 coaches talk about the game plan, how they plan to attack each other, defend each other. They met back in 2018. They started doing coaching courses together, and then at the same time, Ben Pierman, Cano Smith, they were making their rise as assistant coaches. Cano Smith in Birmingham, from Memphis 901. Ben Pierman, that's where he started to find his success, and then ultimately both coaches now head coaches. And late challenge from J.J. Williams.
I wonder if this is going to be a yellow card shown here as J.J. Williams and Adam Grinwis coming together. Did Williams catch Grinwis, or did Grinwis make the most of it? Will be a talking to J.J. Williams, and Aaron Malloy stepping in now as well.
A tone needs to be set by a referee at this point in time. There's been challenges that are late, that are bookings, that are not bookings. An issue right off the bat of just giving a booking to a bar. Does Williams get a talking to? We've got to find the consistency in it. And for J.J. Williams, there was a lot of over-exuberance going into this challenge. We're just talking about how good of friends Ben Pierman and Cano Smith are. Nothing tested like a late challenge going forward on a goalkeeper. And he absolutely catches Grinwis. The ball's long gone. I know it looks close, but having played for as long as I did, I can tell you that was nowhere near being on the foot of Adam Grinwis. That another interesting decision to not give a yellow card. So that's another talking point that's starting to develop 18.5 minutes into this matchup, is the late challenges, the heavy challenges, consistency of the booking so far.
Malloy just kept that in play, and back for Grinwis, who gets it back into the middle. Charleston can reset here at the back with Graham Smith.
What I am seeing, though, 19 minutes in, Rhode Island playing as if the playoffs have started today.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a great sign for a team in their inaugural season to continue to get better and better week after week. And then for them to be at this point of the season peaking where they are playing some of their best, where they're on the road at one of the best teams in the entirety of the USL Championship. And through 20 minutes, Cano Smith will be the more pleased coach of him and Ben Pierman for Charleston.
With the other results going on around the league, Rhode Island still could get in tonight if they do drop points. May not be official because Hartford Athletic, well, let me start this over. They need 3 of 5 scenarios to go their way if they draw. They need 3 of 4 scenarios to go their way if they lose. Let's just keep it simple. If they win, they're in. We'll update you on the rest. But it's also pretty easy math now with just 1 week left. There may not be enough teams that can get to where they're at already on 47 points coming into this weekend.
We'll let you do the deep dive that you did this weekend, the hours spent on it with all the scenarios to fill us in and to keep us up to date. But as you alluded to, the most simple way and the message that would have been given by Cano Smith right before the players walked out onto the field at Patriots Point. Boys, it's simple. Win and you're in. That's all you need to worry about. The rest will take care of itself.
I also want to give a shout out to Nicholas Murray, who helps put together all these scenarios. It's different in the USL Championship than maybe other leagues around the world in that the tiebreaker is head-to-head. It's not goal difference, it's not wins, it's not goals scored, it's head-to-head. That's the first tiebreaker, so it makes it a little bit more, I don't want to say difficult, but you have to do a little bit more looking at it than just saying, okay, they have a higher goal difference, they're higher in the standings.
Correct. Conventional wisdom might tell you to think, based on other leagues, just go look at the goal differential, but instead you'd have to go back and look at these two teams' matchup in March to realize that was a draw. If these two teams have been tied, then you go to the next one. So, as you alluded to, Nicholas Murray at the USL Championship headquarters, who's been there, he does a phenomenal job keeping everybody up to date. And I can tell you stats from when I played back in the early 2010s to all the way up until now. I don't know if he can tell you what he had for lunch 3 days ago, but he'll tell you all those stats. He's got his priorities right, if you ask me.
Does he have the stat of the one game he played for the Charleston Battery?
Yeah, that was very easy. That was about 12 minutes. We've been talking longer than my career for the Charleston Battery.
Another challenge put in. It was a heavy one at that, but out for another throw-in, and that's Marky Barra going into the challenge, who's already on a yellow card. It's brave leaving your feet.
Emotions are running high. So for everybody on the field, as much as this game has been very physical, you cannot lose your control in the most important moments and get a second yellow card or concede a foul in around the box. Oh, and that should not have been blown. The advantage was still going for Rhode Island.
Check out all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix kick off in November. The top teams will battle it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. Strong header in the middle by Malloy to send it back to Adam Grinwis. Midway through this first 45 minutes tonight from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Just one shot in this game. It went to Rhode Island. It produced an expected goals of .01, so it's basically saying there have not been many chances, if any chances, in this game to find a goal. Here's Arturo Rodriguez, and now Robbie Crawford hands it off for Juan David Torres. His pass off the mark, and Rhode Island will look to play in transition with Zach Harivo.
Switches on if they can go.
Lofts it up to the far side. Clay Holstad trying to connect with Steven Turnbull, and off the mark.
Holstad should have gone more with the diagonal ball, the entry into the 18-yard box. As that run was coming across, it actually ends up holding up the run. You get a full head of speed from the outside back position that Turnbull had. Get him going to goal where he can take the touch across the face of the defender, not where he has to stop in his tracks and be able to recalibrate, and ultimately that chance goes begging.
Flag up for offside against J.J. Williams. That's what the top 6 in the Eastern Conference look like at this moment in time. Right now, Indy 11 at halftime, a 2-0 lead against Birmingham Legion. It was Jack Blake and an own goal within a minute that got Indy on the board. Birmingham right now, they are on the outside looking in. They have not been in good form as of late. Just 1 win in their last 5 games. There's Chris Allen to win it back for Charleston in the middle. It's not a lot of times you see Charleston, especially on their home field, have this, I don't want to say, it's a bit of a flat attack right now.
I'd argue to say that if Rhode Island get into the playoffs, they're going to have to go on the road to in the first round of the playoffs. I'd argue that Cano Smith needs to play these first 25 minutes to his group and say, this is exactly how you go on the road and you stifle one of the best offenses in the entirety USL Championship and put yourself in a position to be able to get a result in the playoffs. So far, 25.5 minutes in, Rhode Island have been fantastic, and they don't look as though they're giving Charleston anything going forward. We focused on in the pregame show Nick Marcanic for Charleston, 28 goals in 31 matches. Have you said Nick Marcanic's name tonight?
I'm not sure. Said in the open.
Exactly. So you start to see that Rhode Island are figuring out sitting back centrally and narrow, absorbing pressure, conceding possession in these wide areas is completely fine. And then collectively going together. What they're doing, watch Rhode Island. They're waiting for cues to be able to go and press as a group. What are those cues? A bad entry pass to a teammate where they take a heavy touch, or a backwards pass.
Marcanic got his head on it and wins a throw-in for Charleston. You don't want things to come down to the last week and your playoff fate is still not clinched, but Rhode Island do play a home game against last place Miami FC. That is a Miami FC team that has just been in pretty unfortunate form as of late. Their last win coming on August 31st. It's lofted over the top and taken by Koke Vegas.
You mentioned that last win for Miami FC, August 31st. The last win before that, April 27th.
Not a lot of draws in there. It's been a lot of losses.
But for Rhode Island, I really like the endeavor that they're showing. They didn't punt this game away and say, well, we're going to Charleston, this is a difficult one, but we can put all our eggs in the last game of the season. I don't know, they've done the exact opposite. It's been a fantastic game plan, but you're about a third of the way there. Rhode Island need to continue exactly what they're doing, and I'd like to see more of this, a little bit runs forward from deeper positions.
Here's Fuson. Fuson cuts it in. And just that touch foul at the end against Robbie Crawford will end the threat, and right back to the Charleston Battery. The Battery are back at Patriots Point next Saturday, October 26th, as they take on Loudoun United. Kickoff for that match is 6 p.m. Eastern, and tickets are available now via SeatGeek, the Battery's exclusive ticketing provider. Get your tickets now and save up to $10 per seat when you buy in advance. Head to tickets.charlestonbattery.com today. Battery on the move again. Move down the line for Dos Santos. Trying to cut it back. It'll roll out of play for a throw-in.
I'm seeing little things happening, like Grant Stoneman goes over, challenges, blocks the cross, and Steven Turnbull comes over and gives him an emphatic high five. It's little moments like that that show me that the team camaraderie of this group is very high for this Rhode Island side, and it's just continually getting better and better each week. Little things like that, you can't fake that. That's either real, you either have it or you don't. And this group looks like they are really cohesive right now.
It'll be a free kick here for Rhode Island. Just looking at some of the scenarios for Rhode Island. They need 3 of 4 scenarios to go their way. Pittsburgh failing to take victory at Loudoun, or Loudoun failing to take victory at Pittsburgh, but that game has gone in Pittsburgh's direction, so we knew one of those things was going to go that way. North Carolina did win today, which means Rhode Island cannot lose and make the playoffs today. They have to at least get a draw to officially clinch their spot in the playoffs. And this is what the bottom of the Eastern Conference looks like, from 7 down to 12. Hartford right now is well in action, and they ended up with a 2-1 win against Tulsa. Indy 11 up 2-0 over Birmingham. There are some teams on the outside looking in at the moment that we might thought would have been in the playoffs. And another whistle here right in front of the Rhode Island bench. Rhode Island wanted to go quick. Referee would not allow it. Free kick for Rhode Island right near midfield as we just passed the half-hour mark tonight. Turned over, Arturo Rodriguez. Coming right through the middle for Charleston as Juan David Torres out wide. Here he is. Looking to play it back into the path of Rodriguez. Still no shots for the battery. Torres, cross, header across the face of goal. Rodriguez will look to chase it down. He'll get there. There's contact from Steven Turnbull. Not enough of it for a free kick. It's a throw-in going Charleston's way. Almost 70% of the ball so far for Charleston. It hasn't amounted to much in terms of chances. Just one touch in the opposition box. Still no shots in this game. Another foul against Charleston.
I don't believe there's been a game all season long for the Charleston Battery. It's 32 plus minutes in which they have an expected goal total of 0.0. They are being completely stifled right now.
This is turned over, and maybe something coming here for Charleston. They win it back in a good area. Marcanic helping to keep it. Now Dos Santos. Here's Allen, back for Torres. Torres blocked and out of play. A chance to cross, put in a good area, but it's right at Koke Vegas.
It's the Charleston group coming into tonight that had scored 60 goals in 29 games played, averaging over 2 goals a game. And yet Rhode Island, they're limiting the likes of Nick Marcanic. They're keeping Juan David Torres into positions that are less dangerous outside of the final third or on the periphery of it. And they've done a really, really good job of not allowing Charleston to play centrally through them. So far, it's been picture perfect for Rhode Island on the road.
There's Crawford. And now Allen. Charleston trying to get something going tonight. And again, pretty much every Rhode Island player back behind the ball here. Flicked ahead. There was Malloy who couldn't keep it. And now Rhode Island looking for a way out. It's a foul in the middle. That goes against Charleston. A free kick for Rhode Island. Moving it down the line and out wide. Noah Fuson. Deflected out of play. And it's a goal kick for Charleston. The Charleston Battery have clinched their second straight trip to the USL Championship playoffs and start the defense of their Eastern Conference title at home on November 2nd, kickoff at 6:30. Tickets for that match are on sale now. Just looking at the standings, who could be in that 7 spot right now? Could be North Carolina, it could be Pittsburgh, it could be Tampa Bay. Also a chance that Rhode Island could slip into that if they trip up these final 2 weeks. All yet to be figured out. There's so many teams right around that playoff line. So starting to find a little bit more clarity after some of the results tonight, with Birmingham down at halftime, with Loudoun losing, with North Carolina winning as well. Scrappy game so far.
That'll suit Rhode Island. The scrappy stop-start nature, completely fine for the visitors. They're making this game slugfest back and forth, being played in the middle of the park. No real clear-cut chances for either side, but Cano Smith will be pleased with this side rolling up their sleeves, being difficult to break down on the road. This has been one of the biggest challenges that Charleston have faced all season here at Patriots Point.
Bouncing ball off the chest of Grinwis, and he gets it away just in time. There's Jackson Conway, and moved out wide. There's Nick Marcanic. Now Arturo Rodriguez. And Ibarra wins it back in the middle again.
That's such a high line. There needs to be somebody running deeper. If Charleston are going to play a line where they're only 2 yards into their own half, it's plenty of inviting space to clip a ball up and over the back 3, back 4 for Charleston.
Oh, trying to catch the goalkeeper off his line. It was blocked. That was Clay Holstad in the middle.
Holstad went for the spectacular. He should have gone for the simplistic. Turnbull was in with that high line that Charleston had been playing. Just a slip ball into space anywhere. He had 35 yards of space to play it into, yet he tried to go for the spectacular chip. Don't worry about SportsCenter top 10, just worry about slipping your teammate in. Watch this, Holstad's going for goal. Turnbull was at the top of your screen with all that space to run into.
Rhode Island showing patience, and now they go direct. And that's when they nearly turn the ball over, but Williams wins the second ball off the chest of Robbie Crawford. Harivo searching for options here. Harivo taking off the ball by Malloy. Malloy again in tight space. Crawford couldn't get there, and a throw in for Rhode Island. That's what Cano Smith talked about. We're trying to win the ball back in those good areas. They're willing to concede some possession to Charleston, who've had plenty of it in this game. And now a long throw in for Clay Holstad of Rhode Island.
This gives a chance for Nodarcy, number 15, who's just at the penalty spot right now. He'll be the target, hands on his knees in the middle of your box, just to the right of your screen there. He'll be the one that will flash across the front of J.J. Williams and try to flick this on.
Holstad, long throw. It's out of play, and it's a corner kick on the way. This corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services partner of the Charleston Battery. Mark Ibarra stands over it for Rhode Island, the Michigan man, the former Pittsburgh Riverhound.
So they're all starting at the back of the 6-yard box. So what this will do, because Charleston are in a zone, for Rhode Island, they're gonna have different runs that will be predetermined. Players will go to different points. But the most key one is the player that gets across for Rhode Island, the face of all of Charleston Battery defenders and in front of the near post to be able to flick it on.
Ibarra is ready. The in-swinging ball played back post. And Charleston do well to get this out of harm's way. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Long throw. Still bouncing around the area, nodded forward, and now a whistle and a foul. Back to Charleston it goes. Last time we talked about the shots in this game, you said, I don't think there's been a game where it's been 30 minutes they haven't had a shot. Well, that means there definitely hasn't been a moment when there's been almost 40 minutes plus without a shot. Is it more Charleston or is it more Rhode Island, do you think?
It's more Rhode Island. It's the way in which Rhode Island have been very difficult and compact for penetrating passes through the central part of the park. For Charleston, Rhode Island are giving teams a blueprint that are going to come into Patriots' point of how to be able to defend. It may not always be pretty, but it's effective. And all Rhode Island are doing are waiting for that one moment with the high line of Charleston that they play to clip one ball in behind to try to get J.J. Williams or Noah Fuson the ability to run into that space.
A turnover here against Morris Duggan. Duggan, the loanee from Minnesota, played his college soccer at Marshall, a former Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year. Ben Pierman, some instructions for Leland Archer as Crawford moves down the right. Torres, the cross, the header is wide. The first look at goal tonight for Charleston, and who else? It's Nick Marcanic.
Nick Marcanic is so dangerous in the box that he could have his quietest 43 minutes all season long and still find a way to get lost inside of the box and flash across his defender. That header didn't miss by much. There was just too much spin on it that was tailing away from Coque Vegas' goal.
Moved ahead and then trying to move it back out wide. There's some contact on the edge of the area. Torres goes down, no whistle. And now play will be stopped because Torres is still down and holding his face.
So Charleston finally finding some success as they get forward. This is a look at Torres. I think he's just trying to find a foul. There was a little bit of contact. But where Charleston can find space is quick movement, 1-2 movement, some quick passing to be able to find some space. And then Marcanic has this incredible quality. Watch how he comes across the face of Krifa Yao. Yao's having to track Marcanic from a wide area all the way across to the near post. That's very difficult to do for a center back in a group of 3 to be able to track a forward that's on your far side as he's running across. And it's difficult for Yao to not run himself out of position, but also it's very difficult to pass the responsibility inside the box. That's where Marcanic is causing problems for a lot of teams, starting from that wider area and coming across where he gets lost and unmarked inside the box.
Back in play, a drop ball for Rhode Island as they get it rolling again. Stoppage time is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. And the stoppage time is 2 minutes at the end of this first half. Crawford. Go back to April, and maybe that exchanging of the game plans has meant this could be another 0-0 draw. At least it is so far.
I'd like to think that could have something to do with it. I also think these two teams
It was so long ago. So long ago.
Yeah. And you know, it's so unique as we go back to that story you were telling of Ben Pierman and Connell Smith sharing game plans after they met because of their friendship. The fact that they met in April and then didn't meet again until tonight in mid-October, that's the reason they were able to do that.
Turned over, Ibarra cuts it back. Noah Fuson. There's some contact there in the box. Fuson got right back to his feet. Now Harivo battling.
Good pressure from Malloy to go all the way from inside of your 18 to the other side of the half and force that opportunity for Rhode Island, which was inside the box, all the way back to Koke Vegas.
Long over the top, J.J. Williams is onto it. Trying to keep this in play down that end line. Crawford steps in, and Crawford gets it away. He turns it over to Clay Holstad. Floated forward, knotted down, and the clearance away by Graham Smith. Cut back, Fuson. Noah Fuson's in, and he scores! Right at the end of this first half, Rhode Island take the lead in Charleston, looking for that playoff berth.
A textbook first half from Rhode Island FC on the road have stifled Charleston's devastating attack, and they've waited for their moment to go forward. And the team's most creative player, Noah Fuson, is the architect of it all. Watch his movement. As he's going to win this ball, he's going to play it around the corner. Now just track Fuson in his movement around the corner, and he's going to keep going. He's going to take this touch in between two defenders. He's across the face of Malloy in front of Allen. This is so good from Noah Fuson, who leads the USL Championship in assists. He started the attack, and then with some really tight dribbling in tight spaces and good explosive movement, he gets behind the defense for the battery, simply passes it into the far corner to cap off a perfect half from Rhode Island.
Fuson's 7th goal of the year. It is also his 6th goal contribution in his last 4 appearances. And we have reached the half here in Charleston. All of a sudden, things have changed.
Wow. That was as good of a 45 minutes. All things considered, opponent, venue, whatever you may have, that was picture perfect from Rhode Island. Textbook of how to defend, how to absorb pressure, stifle a really good offensive team, wait for your moment, and then take your moment right before half.
We have reached the break from Patriots Point in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and it's Rhode Island. It's win and they're in. And through 45 minutes, that's exactly what they're doing. At the break, Charleston 0, Rhode Island 1. Stay with us.
Innovation means training tomorrow's leaders in the latest technologies, because we know the next idea to change the future of medicine may well come from them. At the Medical University of South Carolina, innovation is who we are.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
Innovation means developing novel therapies for patients today and taking the first steps toward life-changing discoveries decades in the future. At the Medical University of South Carolina, innovation is who we are.
Halftime tonight in the shadow of the bridge here, connecting Charleston and Mount Pleasant. It's 1-0 to Rhode Island FC. Just 1 week left after this one tonight in the USL Championship regular season. And next up for the Charleston Battery is Loudoun United, and they will be a team with a lot to play for.
Loudoun United coming off of a 2-0 loss to Pittsburgh. Well, Ryan Martin is going to have to energize this side, but from Ryan Martin, the head coach for Loudoun United, I'm looking at what Connell Smith has done in this first 45 minutes to realize how you can stifle the attack. It'll be an important matchup for Loudoun and Charleston. They'll need a get-right game to be able to get right for the playoffs. They hope to be hosting a lot of games at Patriots Point in the playoffs.
Earlier this month, the Charleston Battery unveiled their October Pink Breast Cancer Awareness Kit made by Hummel. The club joined the American Cancer Society's Men Wear Pink campaign. Let's learn more about the cause.
My name's Catherine Chase. I am a lifelong Charlestonian. I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 35 years old and have been considered cured since 2015. The reason that I believe that breast cancer research is so important is because I was a beneficiary of the drug Herceptin. Men Wearing Pink is just helping support women. Everybody has a daughter, a sister, a mother, and it helps remind them this is important. As a breast cancer survivor, it means so much to know that my fellow Charlestonians are supporting me and supporting these efforts to fundraise. I look forward to seeing men in these pink kits. I hope to see y'all everywhere, and I look forward to seeing y'all at the games. And thank you so much for your efforts to help support us.
Hi, I'm Mark Segbers. I'm a defender for the Charleston Battery, and today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what Men Wear Pink means to me and why I got involved. When I was about 12, 13 years old, my mother had breast cancer for the first time. Unfortunately, she had it on her left side, and then it came back and went on her right side. So having to go through that and seeing one of the strongest people that I know having to go through something so tough and so strong, and having to see the struggles that she had to go through really kind of touched me, and it's something that's always kind of stuck with me. Whenever I get a chance to be able to help out the cause or help out any type of campaign, I jump at the opportunity. We'll be having a lot of the breast cancer awareness attire on sale. We have the warm-up top, we'll have a courage kit, and we'll also have a scarf, all available. All the proceeds will go to the Men Wear Pink campaign.
And Adam Grinwis wearing that pink goalkeeper kit tonight. To donate to this cause, search Men Wear Pink Charleston and type in Mark Segbers in the Ambassador tab. Halftime here from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and Patriots Point. It's 1-0 to the Rhode side, Rhode Island. It's win and they are in. We'll have more halftime in the second half on the way.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata.
Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second guessing everything. Every coach's decision, every referee's call, every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. You're more than a superstar.
1-0 in favor of Rhode Island FC at the break. An important 45 minutes on the way for Rhode Island to try to clinch a playoff spot. News and notes in the USL Championship. Relief for the Rowdies. Good to see Louisville City helping to support Tampa Bay. They faced off on the field last week. And also, how about Davion Kimbrough call up to the U15 squad as well? Such a bright young talent in this league.
The tutelage under Mark Briggs has seen Kimbrough grow leaps and bounds as such a young player. We haven't even seen close to the ceiling of his capabilities. Excited to see him called into the national teams. And then the 2024 Copa
Country Adventure begins at CHS.
And at that Indy 11 result against Birmingham. Birmingham on the outside looking in. Jack Blake helping spoil that after capping off a double for Indy 11 after a Cavito own goal. Stefano Pino got back on the score sheet. Jack Blake, Stefano Pino, former teammates together, Minnesota United, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, big win over Loudon as well. If you look at that Hartford Athletic result over Tulsa, this time of the season where the margins are so fine, points are at a premium, everybody is racing forward to that last game of the season coming up.
If you're playing Jamie Watson Bingo, you can check the Minnesota United tab. We're good to go there. Halftime here at Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. It's 1-0 to Rhode Island FC. We'll have highlight stats in the second half coming up.
When we took this job, we knew that the future was the EX90.
A lot of people are excited about it.
We're really happy to see the EX90 on the line.
I'm Tamara Thompson. And Rachel Gillum.
My name is Eric Brown.
And the Volvo EX90 was made by us.
L is for the way you look. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love. Is all that I can give to you.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
1-0 is our score to Rhode Island FC at the break, getting set for the second 45 minutes. These are the live standings right now in the USL Championship. 2 other games going on in progress. Louisville and San Antonio just kicked off, but Indy 11 currently beating Birmingham by 2-1. A huge game there.
If Indy 11 can hold on, they will get the next by their name. Birmingham will try to turn that around in the final 20 minutes. It took us over 40 minutes, 43 minutes, in fact, for Charleston to get their first sniff at goal. Of course, it came through Nick Marcanic with 28 goals on the season, looking to make it 29, chasing down 30 goals in the season. Just gets the angle on this one wrong. It's always trailing away from Pregame Vegas. Watch how he snaps across. There's just so much spin on it that it's just going to go away from the goal. A good warning sign that Nick Marcanic, even on an off night, can still pose the threat at any moment. And then finally, Noah Fuson. He was the game changer we focused on for Rhode Island. Watch his movement. He was the one that plays it in. Goes beyond the 2 midfielders that he passed the ball through. Goes beyond 2 defenders that he touches the ball through, and then passes it into the corner. Look, for Rhode Island, the story is absorbing pressure, giving away possession, picking your moments to go forward. This was the moment, 3 minutes deep into stoppage time, that Rhode Island picked to go forward, and the most creative force all season long, Noah Fuson, delivers the goods, and Rhode Island go into the halftime team talk from Connell Smith thinking, replicate that 45 minutes, and we'll put an X next to our name in the standings.
These halftime stats brought to you by Heineken. A 1 shot for Charleston. It wasn't on target. They've had the possession, just has not been meaningful enough.
Well, for the final third entries, it's been 39 for the hosts. It's been 18 for the visitors. Yet, they made the most of it with Noah Fuson. Can they replicate the 45 minutes? I wish there was a way in which we could take an analytics approach to heart and determination, because Rhode Island would be off the charts with that. They've got to come down, double down, and do it again in the second half to see this one out.
You talk about final third entries well in favor of Charleston. Touches in the opposition box, 10-2 to Rhode Island. So they've gotten into those areas, they just haven't gotten into the box, which is hard to believe with this Charleston side. We are set to go for the second 45 minutes. Glad to be with you tonight with Jamie Watson. I'm Josh Eastern. That's our referee, Matthew Thompson. We're waiting on his whistle to get us underway for 45 more minutes, the penultimate weekend of the USL Championship's regular season. There is the whistle, and here we go. 45 more minutes from Patriots Point in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Charleston Battery and Rhode Island FC. Rhode Island, they needed a lot to go their way if they did not get a win in order to clinch a playoff spot tonight, but it's pretty simple. If they do win, they are in. They are 45 minutes there. They're trying to keep a Charleston team off the board that has lost just once at home this season. They didn't score last week. For them to go 2 games scoreless, that'd be saying something, especially at this time of the year.
Coming into tonight, the conversation was, how does Charleston approach this? Seeing as though they've locked up second place, no matter the results from the last 2 games, they will still end up in second place. So for Ben Pyramid's side, he's got to be disappointed with the first 45 minutes, because this side really lacked the endeavor and the creative force going forward. This is a get-right game where you can get Aaron Malloy back into a rhythm of playing 90 minutes week in and week out. Malloy wasn't on the ball enough. Nick Marcanic only had the 1 shot that we saw in the highlights in the 43rd minute. Only real effort for Charleston going forward. That man right there, Ben Pyramid, will want more of his side moving the ball quicker, being more dynamic with movement, and ultimately leading to more chances to get that feeling that they are used to having here at Patriots Point.
Charleston have not gone 2 games without a goal since they went 4 games without a goal. That was back in June and the end of May as well. That was during that 5-game winless run that came after a really hot start with 10 wins and 3 draws, and we thought, okay, maybe this team is coming back to to earth a little bit, but then they just picked it right back up and scored 5 goals against North Carolina and carried on from there. This is rolled in behind, ushered back to Grinwis, who is quick with his feet. Well done by Graham Smith as well in defense.
That summertime blues that the Charleston Battery were having was the exact opposite for Rhode Island. So far this season, there have been 8 games in which Rhode Island have scored 3 goals or more. 5 of those were in a row. You think back to late June to middle of July, starting with the match against Louisville, ending with the match against Miami FC. 5 straight games with 3 goals. So Rhode Island have goals in them, but I think the approach they've taken tonight is the right one. We'll try to go and out-punch offensively with one of the most prolific teams in the USL Championship in the Charleston Battery. Instead, just sit in, wait for your moment, and take it when it comes, like Noah Fuson did.
Rodriguez picking himself up off the turf, and to further that, Rhode Island, the 6th most goals, the 7th most big chances. How about the 5th most touches in the opposition box? So some of those underlying numbers have been there for them all season long. And as Connell Smith said, that was kind of the last piece to come around for this team. And as you mentioned, once they started scoring in bunches, it went from there. Turned over, a whistle, and a card. It looked like he was going to his pocket. He is. It's a yellow card to Clay Holstad.
Holstad will be disappointed with himself. He takes a heavy first touch, and after the heavy touch, he's chasing down Aaron Malloy, who applies the pressure. I beg your pardon. Came across, that was Rodriguez who jumped in front. It was the pressure from Malloy, but nonetheless, Holstad is a player that more than capable to play in tight spaces in the middle of the park. Just let himself down with his touch, and now you get Malloy over this. What I'd like to see from Aaron Malloy in this opportunity, putting this ball on target, curling, bouncing before it reaches to Koke Vegas, and giving his teammates time to get across, causing a bit of confusion for Vegas. Does he anticipate a touch, or does he just go and track the initial ball in?
Malloy will play it out wide, and now he'll get it back. Malloy, chance to cross, and it bounces once into the arms, but first a whistle. So all that you said, I'm sorry, it didn't go your way there.
It eventually got there, but all that ended up happening was Malloy just invited the defender, who has to start 10 yards back, the time to be able to come down and press and close, and also everybody that's inside the box. They made their initial run, then they had to stop, then they had to reset and go again. If you're gonna end up just clipping it in, why not do it the first time?
A long switch of play is out of play, and this Charleston side is trying to find their groove offensively again. Their last home game was a 2-2 draw against Detroit City, in which they conceded a late equalizer in that game. Laurent Kisidu scoring that goal to make it 2-2. Now it's Malloy leading the break, and Arturo Rodriguez, Ornato Santos, putting it back into the path of Arturo Rodriguez. He puts it out of play, and nothing doing again for Charleston. It's a goal kick.
That was actually really smart from Rodriguez. What he was trying to do, he realized he was never going to be able to chase the ball down and keep it in. So he actually was trying to slide and hook it out so it would be a throw-in, as deep as it could possibly be, and Rhode Island's half, but instead, not just trickled just the other side of the corner flag to concede a goal kick.
Floated down the line. This ball stays in play. Noah Fuson. Challenge put in that leaves Fuson on the surface. There's a crunching challenge. I believe that was Chris Allen there. And Fuson staying down. The referee will stop play.
This is a weird one because Fuson just went into a challenge that you look like you have 100 times over throughout the course of the season, and this is Lindy. He's grabbing his low back.
Everybody has nicks and bruises at this time of year.
The trainer's your best friend at this point in the season. You come crawling in some days to the training ground saying, please, just tape me up, get me together, and keep me in one piece until the offseason.
It's the 33rd regular season game. Add in some Open Cup games in there as well. They long season that starts all the way back really in February with preseason getting underway. And for this Charleston side, remember, they made it all the way to the final game. So you're playing until the very end of the season. And then you get things going right up again, end of January, February, and you're right back into it again.
Interesting to see 7.5 minutes in to this half how deep Rhode Island is defending and where their line of confrontation is. It's at the midway point. And Arturo Rodriguez is going to get bailed out with a foul here. But you're just starting to see what Rhode Island wants to have happen is they want the ball to go around the back, keeping possession from Charleston, and then somebody getting impatient and forcing the ball in. If that foul doesn't happen, okay, Vegas is collecting that and Rhode Island have possession, and another opportunity for Charleston doesn't exist. It's a really effective game plan from Cano Smith, and so far the players on the field have executed the game plan to perfection.
Turned over again. Williams trying to move it ahead for Holstab, but now it's Arturo Rodriguez. Williams. Rodriguez came together. Conway now keeps it for Charleston. Couldn't connect with Nick Marcanic, and he's been held very quiet in this game.
Are you talking about Marcanic or Jackson Conway?
Well, I guess both.
Yes, the answer. Because both 2/3 of the attacking trio for Charleston and just haven't gotten enough touches. They haven't been effective. Now, here's what you do on a night when it's not going your way. J.J. Williams tries a bicycle off of his own face to clear it. One thing an opponent cannot stop you from doing is running. You need to continue to work. You need to continue to try to move, because even if the ball doesn't come to you, if you're moving, you're creating space, you're causing confusion for yourself or for your teammate to try to get in behind. That's one thing that the Charleston trio up front need to do more of, because they're not doing it enough and they're not getting enough chances subsequently for the entire group.
Just 3 total shots in this game. 2 of them to Rhode Island, 1 to Charleston. It was the Nick Marcanic header. Conway goes down, free kick. Smith gonna break up that counter-attacking opportunity. The referee will bring this back after it was J.J. Williams who stayed down. Boy with a word for Matt Thompson, but Matt Thompson would like a word with Graham Smith. And now a yellow card comes out for the center back. Now Rhode Island looking into the attack. 10 minutes into this second half. Chance to cross, Williams! It flashes just wide. A decent chance there for J.J. Williams in Rhode Island. Another foul in the middle. It'll be a free kick, and Krifa Yao not loving that one. Here's the yellow card.
This game has really been stop-start, and Graham Smith's going to get booked for that. I'm not exactly sure that was enough to warrant a yellow to stop a promising attack, but again, Rhode Island taking their fouls, taking the opportunity to absorb pressure, picking their moments to go forward, and just like Fuson just before half, J.J. Williams Finally showing up in the box at the right time. That one did not miss by much. A couple inches the other way, and we're talking 2-0 Rhode Island, and you may be thinking, well, looking at the possession and the total passes and entries into final third, how was this 2-0 for the visitors? Yet Rhode Island are doing the exact things that they need to right now to be in front and just have their noses in front of Charleston.
Just before halftime, this man on the ball, Noah Fuson, that ends up out of play. Noah Fuson and Aaron Malloy, both former teammates at Ford Madison in 2021 in USL League One. Speaking of USL League One, today, this date in history, 5 years ago today, it was Arturo Rodriguez to score the game-winning goal in the first ever USL League One final for North Texas Soccer Club as they took down the Greenville Triumph. So there you go.
I seem to remember a familiar voice in my ear for that goal call. Do you remember who that was, Josh Eastern?
I'm not exactly sure, not familiar with him. Here's the cross, back post. I do remember that they were #1 in League One, and he was the first ever goal scorer in USL League One final history. Here's Marcanic. Why not have a hit? Blocked. Dos Santos. Here's Rodriguez. Chance to cross. Clearance away. Maybe a chance to hit it again from distance. Another block. Bodies all over the place as this one's rifled wide as well. But a whistle came before then anyway. Back to Rhode Island it goes.
You won't tell the viewers it at home, but it was you on that call. An iconic goal call
Myself
that you had.
and Devin Kerr.
In your back pocket for that one. I guarantee you, Arturo Rodriguez will remember that moment very fondly as well. You don't forget things like that. Winning a championship, scoring a goal. Seminal moment in the league's history.
Battery have a brand new look on and off the field this year thanks to Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including the custom 2024 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. And subs on the way. Jay Chapman, MD Myers coming into this game. Jackson Conway is exiting the field for Charleston as one of those two subs. Nate Dos Santos is the other one. Santos just coming back from an injury that kept him out for just a little bit of time. Jay Chapman, MD Myers, both regular contributors this year. MD Myers and Nick Marcanic have formed the most prolific scoring duo in USL Championship history this year, surpassing Adam John and Solomon Asante from 2019. Those two have combined for 41 goals.
Any other year, we'd be talking about MD Myers and his 13 goals, 3 assists. Said Nick Marcanic has gotten most of the headlines for that, but MD Myers has had a real breakout season. He's been really consistent. He's been a real complimentary piece. As much as you can be a complimentary piece with 13 goals. I mean that with all due respect, because he's had an incredible season standalone on its own. But the 1-2 punch, it's made it to where teams cannot just focus on Marcanic because Myers will hurt them. Well, if you focus on a guy with 13 goals like Myers, then Marcanic can hurt them. That's what's really made them so dynamic. And you alluded to it, 41 goals of the 60 that Charleston have scored this season.
And MD Myers last year with NYCFC2 and MLS Next Pro, 19 goals scored. A teammate of Stephen Turnbull, who's on the other side of the field tonight with Rhode Island. Now a set piece opportunity for the Charleston Battery. Chance for Malloy to whip one in. Malloy serves. Williams, the clearing header. Here's Juan David Torres. Juan David Torres still looking to turn the corner. Torres gets into the box. Centering feed deflected, nodded back into the middle. Holstad got his head to it. Smith heads it forward again, and Torres was in an offside position, and Coque Vegas will come to claim. Back in the middle by the Battery. Rodriguez, though, couldn't connect with Torres on the far side. And then it goes back Rhode Island's way. Supporters group in good voice tonight, banging on the drums, making some noise. Trying to cheer for a Charleston goal, though. Chris Allen. Now Leland Archer. Graham Smith. Charleston trying to find a way through this Rhode Island defense. Charleston forced all the way back into their own box with a restart again. Allen, Malloy, everybody getting a touch here in this sequence for the Battery. There's Allen battling with Holstead on the near side. Charleston keep it going with Smith through the middle. Now Jay Chapman, and rolled in behind Turnbull. Now here's Marcanic. Marcanic fires it across. The clearance away, and a corner kick for the Charleston Battery. This is their first of the game, past the hour mark. It's a Pepper Law Firm corner kick.
Marcanic had Turnbull. He bit on the first fake. Could have come inside on the right foot, but instead Marcanic chose to stay out wide. Won the corner kick, but there could have been much more if he would have sold the first fake and come inside.
Rodriguez will take it. Right now, Coque Vegas is taking a seat. Referee pointing to his watch.
Keep an eye on these opportunities from the corner kick. Number 5, Leland Archer. He's currently standing about the penalty spot. He's one of the targets. May make one of the players in and around him as a decoy to create a pick to get Leland Archer open.
In-swinger near post. Headed down and out for a goal kick. Is what Matt Thompson is pointing for. Substitution on the way for Rhode Island. First of the game, we'll see Jojea Quizera come onto the field to replace Steven Turnbull. Quizera, who just played 2 matches with Rwanda during that international break in Africa Cup of Nations qualifying. He started and played 59 minutes and then played 45 minutes in 2 separate games. Quizera back with Rhode Island and back on the field. Rhode Island on the switch of play. Big center back, No Darcy has come forward. No Darcy's cross dealt with. Marcanic now. And Jay Chapman, a heavy touch. Chapman couldn't recover. Possession turned back to Rhode Island. Holstad. Holstad's shot is on target, but taken by Grinwis.
Higher line from Rhode Island now, so this is another wrinkle and a bit of adversity for Charleston to figure out. Holstad does ever so well to win it back. I'd like to see Matthew Thompson give Holstad the opportunity to run forward. Nonetheless, he'll win the foul.
Emilio Icaza entering for Arturo Rodriguez. This is the third sub of the game for the Battery. Icaza, a St. Petersburg, Florida native, his second season with Charleston. Our thoughts with everybody in the St. Petersburg area. And in the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover. Past the midway point of this second half, and Charleston still searching to find a goal in this game. Didn't score last week. They haven't gone multiple games in a row without scoring since all the way back in June, where they went 4 games in a row without scoring. 3 shots, none of them on target. And expected goals of just .14.
If you carry the 1, that's not great.
Bump there, and Torres. Scores that are in the books. Indy 11 has finished off that win against Birmingham. Right now, that is Indy 11 on 51 points. It is Rhode Island on 50 points. So those two still jockeying for positions in the middle of that Eastern Conference. And who knows, maybe Rhode Island could even jump up to 3rd spot if they finish off this today and then go into their game next week against Miami, where they will be heavy favorites at home. Who knows, maybe this Rhode Island side could have a home playoff game. Here's Torres sliding it back down the line and out of play.
And that first tiebreaker, if Charleston are able to come back and level this match, Rhode Island are only able to leave with the point, well, they would be level with Indy 11. However, Indy 11, the first tiebreaker, they would own over Rhode Island because of their win back on Wednesday, August 7th, 1-0 at home over Rhode Island. So all those factors coming into play. That Sebastian Guenzati goal was worth 3 points, and right now a tiebreaker if Charleston are able to level this match and Rhode Island head back with only a point in hand. But things will move, things will change in the next 20 minutes, and we're here to keep you abreast to all of it.
Move down the line again. They cut in fields. And one other game going on right now. This one's floated in again, the header away. Louisville and San Antonio rematch of the 2022 USL Championship final. That's going on right now in San Antonio. More games kicking off tonight in the Western Conference. Icaza helps to keep that alive, and he gets the return ball. Emilio Icaza floats in fields. Empty Myers couldn't collect. Malloy can, and he moves it back out wide. Crawford for Torres. Torres has a hit, bounced once, loose in front, Myers scores! Exactly what the Battery were looking for, 1-1.
Full credit to Charleston Battery head coach Ben Perman on a night in which Charleston were struggling to get anything going forward. At the hour mark, he brings on MD Myers, who has 13 goals on the season. Now watch as Juan David Torres, he's going to take advantage of that little slip. He's going to get the shot, and because it bounces right before Koke Vegas, that's where Vegas struggles. Now the beauty in this goal is the fact that Myers has the patience to be able to take a touch. Most players, lesser experienced players inside the box would just slam this, and Vegas is there to make a save. But Myers takes this touch across. That drags Vegas to the ground, And he applies the simplest of finishes. The quick thinking is what gives Myers his 14th goal of the season.
Goal 14 and his first goal since August 24th, where he scored a brace in the 6-0 win over Orange County. It's been a long time coming for the Doc, MD Myers. Move down the line, Rhode Island looking to respond right away. So now all of a sudden, things back to where we started. Rhode Island and Charleston in a position to draw. We'll see how these final 18+ minutes go.
I never like to lie to you, Josh. I did promise you things were going to change in the final 20 minutes. Generally, they just don't turn out that quickly to be correct.
Rhode Island, they cannot qualify for the playoffs tonight if they draw. They have to win tonight, otherwise it'll go to next week. It's a Pepper Law Firm corner kick. The in-swinging ball, free header down and saved by Grinwis. And Grinwis wants to distribute quick and long over the top. Juan David Torres onto it. Torres lofting it into the Charleston Knight. And it's Koke Vegas who comes to claim it. That goal just a moment ago brought to you by Diamonds Direct. Their 14th goal of the year for MD Myers, and we're level at 1. Floated over the top. It's Frank Nodarce. Nodarce's cross, back post. Archer able to get something out of it. All of a sudden, this game has come to life.
Oh, it's completely changed. It's gone from being methodical, patient, difficult to break down to end-to-end stuff. Both teams now really starting to open themselves up, looking for a second goal, and that's creating opportunities on the transition for either side.
Holstead now, chance for a long throw. We've seen it a few times tonight. Floating it in. Holstead again. Ikaza, great first touch, and now Emilio Ikaza is running in on goal. Ikaza saved. Rebound, Myers swinging a miss. It ends up out of play. What a sequence of play. Ikaza was running free in on goal.
The last thing Emilio Ikaza thought when he came onto the field in the 68th minute, that he was going to have an 80-yard breakaway. But here we go. He's in a foot race. And keep in mind, Ibarra is on a yellow. This is definitely the area where a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity would happen if he pulls him down. But Ikaza, by the time he gets to the opportunity to get a shot off, it looks as though he's run out of gas. He's tired. You should imagine at the end of this, he's checking his shoulder, trying to see where Ibarra is. I think he has too much thought of where Ibarra is, and he gives too many looks instead of figuring out where Koke Vegas is and where he's approaching. There's too much thought about the defender behind him, and ultimately he's not able to apply a finish.
One Loney coming on for another. Morris Duggan is out. It's the New England Revolution Loney, Jack Peniotu, the 20-year-old from Cambridge, Massachusetts, who will enter here for the final 15 minutes. Peniotu's been back and forth between New England and Rhode Island this year. Sticking around here, it looks like, for the run into the playoffs. This is when Charleston has made their money. 21 goals in these last 15 minutes. Rhode Island has scored some late goals this year, including an important one on the road against Detroit at the beginning of August, which turned that loss into a draw. And that's what Rhode Island have done a lot of this year, just grinding out results. Another foul here. Chapman and Fuson coming together. Ibarra goes quick. Peniotu. Ibarra now delivers.
That's a poor decision from Ibarra to go quick. 4 or 5 of the big guys have gotten forward for Rhode Island. He goes quick. Ultimately, by the time he gets recycled back to him, now you got everybody out of position.
And roll it in for Marcanic. Nick Marcanic! Looked like he slipped as he made contact with the ball. And well out of play.
The shouts now from Rhode Island. You can see the displeasure on the face of players because that quick free kick unbalanced the entirety of Rhode Island, wasted the free kick opportunity, and now everybody has to track back 70, 80 yards because one player wants to break off and have an independent thought that's different from the rest of the group. That's the kind of thing that will drive the Rhode Island head coach Cano Smith absolutely crazy.
Is there a change in perspective now with this game for Rhode Island? They get the early goal. They were, as you said, one of the best first halves they've played all season. But now they're being outshot. They have a well lower expected goals, and now it's 1-1.
Perspective is important because at the beginning of the night, if you'd offered a point to Rhode Island coming into Patriots Point where there's only been 1 loss and 2 draws all season here, I think you would have said, yeah, we'll take that if you're Rhode Island. That's not the worst thing in the world to have happen, to get points to make sure that you ensure yourself even more of that safety from the playoff line. But at halftime, if I had to offer you to draw, you would have said it was completely different. So your perspective and your opinion might have changed over the course of 45 minutes from the opening whistle to the halftime whistle. But for Rhode Island, the way that they've played, they still will feel as though if they stick to what they did in the first half where they absorb pressure and try to break out, there's still going to be another good opportunity or 2 for them in the final 11 minutes plus stoppage time. Still think that they would feel as though they have a winner in them. I don't know if they'd be completely content taking just a point at this moment in time.
Loaded forward, Marcanic up for it. Holstad applying some pressure. A whistle will stop Holstad's progress. And it's a free kick going the other direction. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Flipped over the top, Myers onto it. Myers cuts it back. Tried to lay it off for Crawford, who went to ground. And Rhode Island carry it out. Trying to play in behind. Williams was in an offside position. Now with some other results around the league tonight, Rhode Island cannot clinch unless they win. And it will be all eyes on the game on Wednesday night. It's the lone midweek match in the USL Championship. Tampa Bay hosting Hartford. Remember, Tampa Bay is now playing their home matches at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. So Rhode Island could clinch a playoff spot on Wednesday should Hartford drop points. And how sweet would that be? Their biggest rival, they could get into the playoffs if their biggest rival dropped points.
You'll take it any way you can get it, but if you're a fan,
just win tonight.
And it comes at the expense of your rival, it's a little bit sweeter. What's even more sweeter than that Wednesday night and having the patience for a couple more days would be a late winner on the road at Patriots Point in the next 9 minutes plus stoppage time.
That's what the playoff line looks like. Hartford sitting on 43 points. They would have to beat the Rowdies on Wednesday to keep it alive. This slipped through. Grinwis off his line. Contact there. Penalty. Jack Peniotu making the run in behind. And a point to the spot for Rhode Island.
You just got the feeling there was going to be another opportunity for Rhode Island. They set in, they were patient, and then ultimately the substitute, Peniotu, he gives a little look to Grinwis before he made contact with the ball. That little peek, so he knows Grinwis is coming out, As soon as he touched it on, the 20-year-old knew he was going to pull up the landing gear and he was going to try to draw the foul. He does it ever so well. Now you've got the combination of Williams and Fuson. Fuson's got it in his hand. He doesn't want to give it up. I don't blame him. He's going to stand over it. And if it is indeed Noah Fuson, that's going to take this penalty as he has the ball in his right arm at the penalty spot. Noah Fuson is 4 of his last 5 penalties, he has made it. One of them went to the goalkeeper's left. The one that he missed was to the goalkeeper's left, but all 3 to the right were goals.
Just the 2nd penalty of the year for Rhode Island. They have not scored one in the USL Championship this season. Grinwis hasn't saved one. Fuson, it's saved! The rebound, a scramble in front, and Grinwis brings it in. That's a save for Adam Grinwis.
What a moment for Adam Grinwis. He's writhing in pain after the collision of bodies afterwards. This save is at the perfect height for Grinwis to be able to make that save, and it was his own teammate that was clamoring back. Graham Smith, I believe it was, as he was coming in, comes crashing into Grinwis. Malloy's in there as well too, but both of those players have an important role, and Graham Smith timed his run into the box. So did Malloy, to be able to win the foot race on the follow-up. Fuson has to do better though. You need to go higher or lower. That is in the sweet spot for a goalkeeper, as that's that natural range for a goalkeeper as he extends and lunges. What a turning point in the season that could be for so many different teams in the Eastern Conference.
A chance to take the lead late. Now Rhode Island 0 for 2 from the penalty spot this season. Grinwis shaken up after that. Back on his feet as Ben Perman has some words now for Jay Chapman. Substitution board is up for Rhode Island. Joe Brito will enter. It's the end of the night for Marky Barrows, sitting on that yellow card. Cano Smith sure wanting to be careful here with his important midfielder who has been on the field every game this year for Rhode Island. Brito, 25-year-old from Bolton, Connecticut, formerly with Union Omaha, will now check in. That is the final sub of the night. 3 substitution windows and 3 subs used by Cano Smith and Rhode Island. Still 2 more subs in 1 window available for Ben Pierman and Charleston. Nodded out wide. Trying to keep this alive. Foul here. If you can't watch the match, you're on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Comes into the corner. Leland Archer there to meet him. It's a foul there at the end line. And Leland Archer is now on his back.
Adam Grinwis, that was his first penalty kick save since back in 2018 with Orlando City that he made a save. As It's just his second career penalty kick save in regular season, and what a big time that is. Be game-changing for so many different teams in the championship, and then also does it galvanize Charleston to go and find a winner, and what's the converse of that? Take a look at it. Fuson kept his eyes up the whole time, and then he looked down as he approached. So the whole methodology of staring at the goalkeeper to see if they're going to give you a hint, it doesn't work if you're going to look down at the last second, because Grenwis is standing tall. He doesn't give anything away until that final plant step. Fuson's now looking down. So instead, for Fuson, he needs to either keep his eyes up the whole time or not worry about Grenwis and just put his head down and put his foot through it where he wants to go. Just an odd approach, and see, hindsight's easy to say that. For somebody who took penalty kicks my entire career, I can tell you, you got to do one or the other. Fuson did half of both. Half of keeping his eye up the goalie, half of looking at the ball.
What did you do?
Put my head down and said, if you're going to save this, I'm going to kick it as hard as I can to the corner, and we'll see what happens after that.
Did you have a favorite corner?
Absolutely. Low and hard to the left. I just put my foot through it. I said, if you can stand in the middle and you can guess that I'm going to go that way again and push off to get enough of a leverage to be able to make the save in the corner with me kicking it as hard as I can, I'll look up at you after you and say, good save. Otherwise, you take some power off when you open your hips up that way and go with the inside of your foot, which was what Fuson did. And ultimately, it makes it easier of a save at that height and that speed for Grenwis.
2 subs coming for Charleston, the final 2 of the night. Samuel Beek will enter. It's the end of the night for Leland Archer. Juan David Torres coming off the field. It is Prince Sadie coming on. A mid-season acquisition coming over from Rhode Island. He made 11 appearances with Rhode Island this season. And now Sadie coming on to face his former club tonight here in Mount Pleasant. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Another whistle and more pushing. A chippy game throughout. Free kick for Charleston. Malloy stands over it. Whips this out in front. The header by Graham Smith out of play as we enter 8 minutes of MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time.
This game has been so open, and we saw that wonderful stat earlier, 21 goals for Charleston in the final 15 minutes. You feel as though the hosts are going to get their opportunity. Was that the opportunity for the visitors via the penalty spot? It's just going to be another opportunity. Now you get to the point where you need somebody to step up, have an individual moment of brilliance, have the broad shoulders to be able to step up.
Nice catch.
Young spectator stepped up when their moment was called to be able to make a catch. Their moment on TV time. Well done. Took that very well.
Seven minutes to go. Rhode Island win, and they are in the playoffs in their inaugural season. If not, it'll turn their focus to next week. Here's MD Myers. Flag is up. It's not even turning their focus necessarily to next week. It's turning their focus to Wednesday. Tampa Bay against Hartford. Hartford dropped points. Rhode Island would book their spot.
Wouldn't this be something for Rhode Island, though, to go on the road in stoppage time to get a moment of brilliance, a moment to savor for a lifetime for this club, and getting a late winner here to get them into the playoffs in the inaugural season. It just sets up for a storybook ending.
A foul and a free kick coming for Charleston. It's Karifa Yao, as MD Myers has to put his shoe back on.
Be a storybook ending, or it could be a nightmare for the visitors if the hosts are able to turn this all the way around. When this ball bounces, that's when MD Myers is able to get back in and have the ability to try to gain advantage. For any young defender watching, if that ball's in the air and you can get to it before it bounces, that's what you need to do in that moment. As soon as it bounces, the favor goes right back to the forward. Now you get Aaron Malloy standing over the ball, the best service in the entirety of the USL Championship, and this will favor an outswinging one that'll land right at the top of the 6. If you can put enough pace on this, you get every attacker and every defender running back towards Koke Vegas. Makes it very difficult for any deflection, any pinball action to go beyond, but surely could be a late winner for the hosts.
Malloy delivers. Heads go up, knotted down, and a foul. More bodies hit the deck. It's kind of the reaction all night long there for Ben Pierman.
Coming into the night, Charleston knew they won 3-0 or lost 3-0 or tied anywhere in between. Nothing was going to change for the standings, but the biggest thing that would change is the confidence for this group. I don't believe that this group has gained any more confidence from tonight. If anything, I think there's going to be a few more questions now of teams that come into Patriots Point, take the blueprint from the first 45 minutes from Rhode Island, and are going to make things even more difficult for Charleston as we enter into the postseason. That could all change with a goal and 3 points. Then the conversation becomes for Ben Pierman in the locker room, hey boys, you didn't play your best, but you still got to win. That can be uplifting. So much of where things go rests on these final 4 minutes of stoppage time.
Kaza floats it forward. Oh, there's Koke Vegas flying off his line. Ben Pierman's talked about that the motivation is we have to keep getting better. He's viewing these games as playoff games. He said going into the game against Pittsburgh last week, they kind of wanted to play off of what the other team was playing for. So I guess it works as well tonight for Rhode Island in that they're playing to get into the playoffs. Pittsburgh last week, they had to win basically last week to keep their playoff hopes alive. They did. They won again today. But Charleston been trying to play off of that a little bit as they look towards the playoffs. Another whistle here, and a yellow card is out. That's Robbie Crawford.
Crawford on a different day could have seen a yellow card inside the first 10-15 minutes of this match for a late tackle on the near side. Instead, they wait about 80 minutes or so, and he ends up picking one for that little ticky-tack foul in the middle of the box. Or middle of the field, excuse me.
Fuson turns it over. Prince Sadie into the path of Emilio Ikaza. More runners coming. Sadie to his left. Ikaza cuts it in. Ikaza bumping bodies there with Clay Holstad, and possession turned over.
Ikaza cannot look off Prince Sadie in that run that he made to try to slip him in. He used it as a decoy, did Ikaza, and completely wasted that opportunity.
That would slipped him behind the other way. Clay Holstad put the flag up for offside. 2 minutes and change to go. Prince Sadie pulled back, and it'll be a free kick on the way for Charleston. Looking for some late magic late on, both these teams are. Referee have to come put the spray down where the foul was committed.
Can't wait to see Malloy's face when he turns around and sees where this free kick is going to be. My thoughts exactly. That seemed a little further back than where it was with Malloy. He was just as surprised.
Here's Sadie. At the best of his former teammate Joe Brito. Turn back for Malloy. Sadie trying to run onto it. Holstad will see this out of play, but first a foul. A free kick to Rhode Island into the final minute.
Clay Holstad has had another industrious performance in the middle of the park for Rhode Island. As solid as they come in this league, just understanding how to be able to clog up the middle, do the defensive work that doesn't show up on the stats. Being able to time his ability to run across. I'd love to get a tracking on him to see how many miles he's covered tonight. Holstad has covered just about every blade of grass here at Patriots Point.
And Kaza, header away. One last chance for Rhode Island tonight here at Patriots Point. Fortunate deflection initially, but then turned over. And that is full time tonight from Patriots Point. The points are shared between these two good friends. And still, Rhode Island have not clinched that elusive playoff berth.
While Rhode Island will have to wait until Wednesday now to see if they can clinch a playoff berth via the Hartford versus Tampa Bay Rowdies result. Rhode Island will be the happier of the two teams with their performance. They did a wonderful job in the first 45 minutes. Noah Fuson got on the score sheet. But ultimately, it was Noah Fuson who missed the penalty kick that could have given them all 3 points. Well, they will have to wait to see if they can cap off this wonderful storybook inaugural season with a playoff berth this week.
Tonight's Heineken man of the match is M.D. Myers, the lone goal scorer tonight for the Battery, just picking up the loose scraps.
Came on in the 60th minute, onto the score sheet. 11 minutes later, his patience on this rebound, just giving himself the opportunity. What if Koke Vegas spills this? Well, the what if turned to he did. That little patient touch from his left foot to his right foot baits Koke Vegas into selling out for the first touch, and with the second touch, Myers applies the finish. On a night where Charleston weren't their greatest going forward, M.D. Myers comes off the bench onto the score sheet for the 14th time this season to rescue a point at home.
Final score brought to you by Wicked Weed. It reads Charleston 1 and Rhode Island 1. We'll come back and wrap things up with highlights, stats. It finishes tonight, Charleston 1 and Rhode Island 1.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Final score presented by Wicked Weed. It reads Charleston 1 and Rhode Island 1. The Battery have clinched their second straight trip to the playoffs and start the defense of their Eastern Conference title at home on November 2nd, kickoff at 6:30. Tickets for that match are on sale now. Our full-time highlights are brought to you by Michelob Ultra. The second match of the season between Charleston and Rhode Island, both finishing in draws, but just before halftime, that's when the chances started coming.
It was a very quiet first 40 minutes or so for Charleston, and then just before halftime, Nick Marcanic flashes across, reminding you that he's got 28 goals on the season. He's always a threat, just barely misses that one. And then the biggest threat for Rhode Island, Noah Fuson. Coming into tonight, he led USL Championship in assists. Well, he helped create this one with some wonderful movement, great entrance pass, splits 2 defenders, and then he gets to the top of the box and his touch goes through 2 defenders, calmly finishes it. What a really good goal from Noah Fuson to make it 1-0 at the half.
And then coming into the second half, M.D. Myers cleaning up the loose scraps, his 14th goal of the year.
Myers came in with the clear signal of intent that Ben Pierman wanted to go and find an equalizer. It took him 11 minutes to come off the bench onto the score sheet. And MD Myers levels this up, and then the game just went bananas from there. It was end-to-end stuff, and ultimately another substitute made his mark. Jack Peniotu, the 20-year-old on loan from the New England Revolution, gets on the end of it. A little peek out of the corner of his eye. Look at that, to see where Grenwis is. As soon as he touches it beyond, he goes straight to the ground, and to the spot we go. Fuson looking to bag a brace and put his team into the playoffs. And Adam Grenwis says no. His first penalty save since 2018 comes at a crucial time. It is a penalty, truth be told, that is at a poor height, not enough to the corner, and Grenwis helps rescue the tie for his side.
Full-time stats, there was not much in this game at the break, which is 3 combined shots. Second half was much better.
You look at this game, it was really about Rhode Island coming in and figuring out how to stifle the creativity and the attack for Charleston, who coming into tonight had 60 goals in 29 games. And that one goal from Indy Myers was really the only true devastating look that they had.
Indy gets an X. Rhode Island's not quite yet. They're still looking at Hartford's game against Tampa Bay on Wednesday.
It would take a lot to get Rhode Island to not be able to jump into the playoffs. However, and we'll just have to wait and see Wednesday night. There could be a plethora of results that will change the seeding, who will go to where, but man, Charleston Battery locked into that second place. Louisville, the Players' Shield winner as well. That is a formidable conference. Whoever can navigate their way through the Eastern Conference, they've got a real good shot at lifting the USL Championship trophy.
That'll do it for our coverage tonight from Patriots Point in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. For our entire crew and broadcast partner, Jamie Watson, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long for our full-time score. Charleston 1 and Rhode Island 1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.